Danny Bonaduce, life coach. Danny Bonaduce, life coach.
All righty, kids, it is indeed time for the life coach. Call me right now if you want to get through. Lines are open, 1-800-252-1025. Or you can email us. You email us to lifecoach@kzok.com. Life Coach brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Let's talk to Brian in Tacoma. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, sunshine.
How are you?
Oh, a little loose today.
I'm not sure what that means, but I've heard that about you. So what can we do for you today, Brian?
Hey, Danny, my wife has a nice habit, but kind of unusual. She tends to collect my own children's friends as strays and tries her best to help them out. Lets them move in. She's like enabling them to never experience growing up. It drives me nuts.
All right, now, what kind of kids are these? Are they nice kids? They're friends of your kids. Are they nice kids? Are they fun to have around?
They're nice kids. They're just young and haven't had a chance to learn a life lesson out there about how to take care of themselves.
How young are they?
19 is the current one now. We've had them as young as 17 and as old as 23.
And you know what? At 23, I'm just going to jump on that one for a second. At 23, you're not helping a kid out. You have a tenant. This person needs a job and needs to pay rent and needs to put groceries on the table. But I don't love all of it. Now, what is your wife's reason for doing this? What does she say? When you say, hey, sweetheart, you know what? I don't love all these kids in our house. What does she say? Well, Brian, here's why I do it. What does she say?
Because I can't see how a parent can throw children to the curb.
And do they actually get thrown to the curb? Is that true? If it weren't for her, they'd be at the curb?
That's true. The one that's staying with us now would be homeless.
Okay. Now, that begs the question then, because these people are coming to your house, whether right or wrong, what's the motivation for throwing them out of their own parents' home?
Well, the one that's staying with us now, I hate to keep going back to this, but he got into a fight with his stepmom and said some things, and now she won't let him back in the house.
And why does he need to stay at your house instead of somewhere else?
Because he can't seem to keep a dependable job. He's never known what it's like to have to pay bills, to be a regular...
This is the thing, Brian, and you seem to understand this along with me. Your wife, as sweet as she is, and more people should be like your wife. She sounds like a saint. Having said that, I don't think she's understanding, you're right about this, that she's holding these kids back a little bit. Life's hard. I was talking about the best advice that you ever got, and one of them would be, life's tough. And when you think life is tough, it gets tougher. So, you know what? This kid's only going to be young once. This is his best time to make mistakes. If this is driving you crazy, Brian, it sounds like it is, you need to not lay down the law with your wife, but you need to make it clear to her that she's not helping these kids out. And, they're legally adults. I think you said there's a 19-year-old in your house currently, maybe an 18-year-old. The fact of the matter is, they need to be, at the very least, paying rent and looking for a job actively. Let me ask you that, Brian. Are these kids that are in your house actively searching for a job? And when I say actively searching, I mean business. I mean hitting the pavement.
Yeah, that's part of being there. That's part of me staying there. Otherwise, they deal with me, and everybody's saying I have anger issues now because I have no tolerance for it.
Well, let's find out about that, Brian. There's a 19-year-old man in your house not getting a job. Have you punched him in the face yet?
Oh, God, not that bad.
Okay, then you do not have anger management problems. Call me back when there's a lawsuit. You're fine. That's the thing you need to know about this, that there's all sorts of levels of how this is going. The kids, as far as I'm concerned, let's not forget, somebody threw them out of a house somewhere at some time for some reason, whether it be real or imagined. Somebody asked them to go. Then your wife said, hey, come on in, and you're the only one, in my opinion, laying down the law that people have to get jobs. Now, did I ask you this yet, Brian? Do anybody paying any rent at your house?
Well, let's see. Last month, I think I got $35 from the kid.
And how did he get that $35?
Well, he has a job. He's a car detailer.
He's a car detailer. Is it his company, or I'm assuming it's not his company. He works for another guy?
He works for another guy.
And in Seattle-Tacoma area, I'm assuming that's only a viable job about, 40 hours a year. That somebody's going to pay money to have a car that's not just going to get spritzed on. Here's what I think you need to do, Brian. I think you need to, if you're willing to have these kids in your house at all, and it seems like you are, and it seems like you're a good guy. You don't have, from what I know, anger issues at all. You're a really good guy. I think everybody needs to be paying a minimum rent, and $32 won't do. And your wife has to understand that she's not really helping a guy when they're old enough to be outside. They're old enough to vote for the president of these here United States. They're old enough to have a job, whatever it is. Somebody should be doing a paper route. And if they say it's beneath me, that's a job of an 8-year-old. Well, go do the job of an 8-year-old till you can do the job of a 15-year-old and keep climbing up the ladder. But you need to set down the law, Brian, that everybody needs to pitch in or they need to hit the highway. Thank you, Brian, and good luck. Hang in.
You still have time to call the life coach this morning. If you've got a problem, he will help you. Make the call to 800-252-1025. You can email lifecoach@kzok.com. Make the call now, though. Becky in Tacoma. I got diagnosed with hepatitis C GT3. I have to do a 24-week treatment that is supposed to cause fatigue, irritability, and headaches.
It's absolutely good. I don't know what those last letters are after hepatitis C.
We'll just say Hep 3. C.
Hep C. And it's a tough day in the medication. The only reason I know about this, to be honest with you, I hate to admit this, is because of Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
And I remember they did she was forthcoming about it, and she thought she had chronic fatigue syndrome as well as hepatitis C, but it turned out at the time it was just the medications, but things will get better on that. Unfortunately, your hepatitis C won't really.
So I got diagnosed with Hep C. I have a 24-week treatment program that is supposed to give me fatigue, irritability, and headaches. The doctor said I could do a 6-month treatment program, which would be better and have less side effects. But obviously, that takes 6 months as opposed to 24 weeks. Plus, should I tell my employer?
Isn't 24 weeks 6 months?
What's 4 times 6? 24 week. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. She's got Hep C. She's
slipping.
So. She says there's a shorter treatment and there's a longer treatment. Maybe she means a 24-day treatment program. So she has not told her employer, but she's concerned about all of the side effects. Should she do the long treatment, the short treatment that has worse side effects? And should she tell her boss?
Well, let's address the part I'm sure of. Yes, tell your boss. You're about to get, really tired and stuff like that. And by the way, you're protected. Once you go to your boss, it's very hard to fire a person for getting hepatitis C. And I'm sure your boss wouldn't want to do that anyway. I'm sure he's a fine person. But yeah, so tell your boss. And as for the, you have to look in, do a little research. I've done very little research on hepatitis C. I thought I had hepatitis one time. It turned out I had jaundice, but I turned yellow. And my eyes turned like glow in the dark, spooky yellow. Oh my God. So I started looking up hepatitis. And unless something has really changed in 15 years since that day, the only difference between the short program and the long program is the length and how sick it makes you feel. The lengthy program will make you feel, I believe, less sick, if I was following correctly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're not going to not have hepatitis C. That's what I understand from my research on this topic, that no matter what they do, that you're going to have hepatitis at the end of the day. So here's what I would do. Having said that, I would start by telling my boss, and then I'd take the longer program that makes you feel less terrible, because at the end of the day, you still have a tough thing to deal with, and that's hepatitis C. So good luck on that.
And let's put you on now with Jody in Issaquah. Jody, you're on with the life coach.
Hey, Jody. Jody there?
We lost Jody.
Oh, did I miss Jody?
Jody, give a call back. Danny is still here. And for the rest of you, he is here for you this morning at 800-252-1025. I've got another email that we can get to.
All right.
Where did this one go? This was a good one. Becky in Vancouver. I'm a member of an upper management company. Sorry, I'm the member of upper management at a locally owned company where most of the employees are related to the owner. Another manager has been coming on to me, grabbing my hand, calling me sweetie and honey, despite my clear objections to his behavior. My boss has not addressed the situation, and I get the feeling he's trying to sweep it under the rug. Do you think I'm blowing it out of proportion? Should I get legal advice? What should be my next move?
Well, this is, when you call me or write me, in this case, or email me, that it's hard for me to say the decision is yours because you're calling me and asking me for help. What I would do is different from what I think that you should do on this. I think when you say your boss seems to be sweeping it under the rug, that means your boss is aware. Somebody's touching you and calling you sweetheart. That's actionable for sure. You know what? Sometimes, almost always, really, to be honest with you, the life coach is totally right. That there's no two ways to go on this. That I'm just right. This would be one of them. It's actionable. Touching you, okay. that could be innocent. Sweetheart, that could be innocent. You combine, how you doing, sweetheart, with the touch, and you said grabbing of your hand. That's actually actionable. Here's what I would do. I would make sure, because I'm kind of a jerk on this now. I don't like this guy touching me, and I don't like anybody calling me sweetheart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention this to my coworker and my friend. I realize that some of them are related, but not all of them. You don't work in the Ozarks. And I'm going to have, when I know this guy's going to touch me and grab me, that I'd make sure there's somebody there to witness it. And this is a bit about out of order, I'm going to say, and then I'd call a lawyer. I'd call a lawyer today. I'd say, I called Danny Bonaduce, and he said this is fully actionable, and the lawyer will say, yeah, he's right. Why don't you make sure this is witnessed next time, and we'll sue this cat, and that's my recommendation. It's not necessarily what I would do. It sounds like I don't know that it's what you would do, but you can. You can actually sue and get things as a reward or compensation.
All right, Becky in Seattle, you're on with the life coach.
Hi, Becky.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
I'm just wondering how to approach the subject of getting somebody to move out of my house. I kind of let them come in to save some money, and they were going through a hard time, and now it's been a year and a half, and they seem to have money to do everything other than, save it. I'm not charging any rent because I really was trying to give them.
There's the answer, Becky. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to say to this person who's in your house for a year and a half, and by the way, that's a little long. I don't love that. And that a little of that is your responsibility. But here's what you're going to do. You're going to say, you know what? I was happy to help you out when you were down on your money. There's a couple things we need to do here. One is put a finish line on this. I think. What do you think? Another 4 weeks, and that's up to you, Becky. How long can you stand it? But they're your friend. Another 4 weeks, and by the way. After that, at that point, I need you to start paying rent. Of all people, Linda, we'll call her Linda because you're already Becky. Of all people, Linda, you know how tough money can be. You're going to have to help me to stay. The wolves are at the door. And by the way, Becky, you're not lying. The wolves are at everybody's door. It's everybody's got a lot of money because it's a great time in technology. We got all the .coms here, but I don't know one person that's not at their limit. They're like, 90 days of unemployment would wipe a family out. Everybody I know is living right at about 90 days from catastrophe. So that's what you have to do is you have to set an end date. You're going to go, you know what, another 4 weeks, and after that, here's what the rent is. And just be matter of fact and like them as you always have done. You're just reassessing the situation, and the end game is 4 weeks from now, and that's when we start charging rent. Good luck on that there, Becky. All right, that is all the time that we have for Danny Bonaduce, Life Coach. And as always, I really appreciate that you called up or that you wrote me an email. Life Coach is brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE.